Hey guys, it's JFO here with another Friday High Vibes video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jennifer Fratelli, but everyone calls me JFO. Make sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking the button below and clicking the bell so you get notified every time I have a new video. So, a couple of weeks ago, I did a video on why is 2020 like this? That was part 1. Today, we are doing part 2. Now, if there's anything specific you want to understand about this year from an astrological standpoint, definitely put that question in the comments below, or any video you just want me to do on astrology, please put it in the comments below. I would love to support you with the content that you want to learn. So today we're going to solely focus on the destiny line of astrology. What is that? Well, the comfort zone is what we call the south node, and the destiny is what we call the north node. The north node is the destiny, the south node is the comfort zone, okay? And how we find this is it's the path of the sun, the path of the moon. They never meet, but they meet at one point in the north and one point in the south. And that is your destiny line. That is the work I do as an astrologer. It's the most powerful work in my mind. It's the way that I've kind of created my own system. I call it my destiny vibe system. But a lot of people don't realize that we can also look to the collective destiny line to see what we are all learning together collectively. Now, we started the year off with our destiny line in Capricorn versus Cancer. We had Cancer as the destiny and Capricorn as our comfort zone. And then we went into a new destiny line in May. Let's start off with January to May of 2020, okay? The comfort zone was in Capricorn, and Capricorn represents career, public life, climbing the corporate ladder, the future vision, organizational systems that are going to help produce some type of ambitious project. Capricorn is all about ambition. It's a cardinal sign of the zodiac, so it wants to be in control, but from an earth perspective, so a logical control, okay? So it wants to create useful systems that are going to support the world. But the way we see Capricorn in a collective sense is it's really the public life and the systems that we use in our public experience, okay? Specifically in the areas of career. Whereas the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer, and Cancer is all about the home and family and nostalgia and the past. And it's more about controlling things because it's also cardinal, but from an emotional place, a feeling place, because it's a water sign. It's also in the survival stage versus the spiritual stage. So Cancer is kind of more focused on the basic survival needs, where Capricorn is more about spiritual vision. How can we use this for a bigger purpose type thing? So what happened was in the beginning of the year, not only did we have our comfort zone in Capricorn, but we also had Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn this year have been in Capricorn. Some of them had a little stint in Aquarius, but let's not even worry about that. They were all in Capricorn, okay? So we had so much Capricorn energy with our comfort zone of Capricorn. And the biggest thing that was there is Pluto in Capricorn, which we've had since 2008. I've been talking about this a lot. So there was definitely this trauma from January to May of this public life, right? Like this collapsing of public life, this collapsing of systems that we're normally used to. So that was starting in the beginning of the year, okay? And our destiny was this Cancer of the home, right? So we all went in quarantined into our home, and we were a lot closer with our family, right? In close quarters with our family. And so we really felt that, right, in the beginning of the year. But we had a very massive shift happen in May, and that shift is going to take us not only to the end of the year, but it is going to take us throughout 2021. Okay, so it's very important that you understand the new destiny line and what it means. Okay, so in May, we shifted to our comfort zone being in Sagittarius to our destiny being in Gemini. And this is the masculine mutable signs of the zodiac. Okay, so this is all about blunt perception, because that's Sagittarius. Sagittarius wants to perceive things. It's the fire sign, so it's very blunt and aggressive. It's in the spiritual stage of astrology, so it really wants to see the bigger picture. And what ends up happening with Sagittarius, I'm a Sagittarius, by the way, is that we want to find the truth. We want to find the real deal truth. And when we say that, it's from a perspective of no filter and the story. We want to know the story of the villagers in the village, right? Whereas the opposite of Sagittarius, which is our current destiny, is Gemini, and Gemini is the opposite. Gemini is in the survival stage of astrology, and it's air energy. So it's going to be a little bit more diplomatic, a little bit more schmoozy. It's going to present the pretty front. And that's not bad or good. I mean, fire signs are just very blunt and to the point, whereas air signs are the opposite. They're going to think about something before they actually speak, and they're going to have a little bit more diplomacy and a little bit more schmooze, right? So Gemini really is the marketing salesman of the zodiac. They're not really going to go into the storytelling. They're going to go more into the spin, and they're really going to focus on the facts of something, right? So whereas Sagittarius isn't wrong per se, because they're coming from the story, someone's story, and Gemini is not wrong per se, because they're coming from the facts of something, right? They're in the survival stage. They just care about surviving. They want to know the facts and the details, and they're more in their brain, right? They're more in that mental air energy of let's think about this. Let's really think about this. And Sagittarius is like, no, let's take massive action. Let's go into the village. Let's talk to the villagers. Let's find the story. So both want to perceive something. They want to perceive that information, and then they want to impart that information to others, right? They want to learn and they want to teach. That is mutable signs. Okay. So I don't know if you've noticed since May, there's a lot of people trying to teach and preach and learn and grow, but there is also a lot of screaming going on in terms of perception. So this is a really big thing to understand, because you will survive 2020 and beyond into 2021 if you can understand that right now our perceptions are, there's multiple realities and multiple perceptions going on right now. And I'm going to kind of explain that more for you. But before I dive into like what that means, I want to ground us in words and their definitions. Now, this is a very Gemini thing, and I do have Gemini in my chart. My comfort zone is actually Sagittarius, and my descendant in my chart, which means my relationship angle, is in Gemini. And so for me, I think it's so important that if we're going to understand this whole perception thing, we really need to understand definitions of words, because a lot of times we can use words in our own way, in our own flair, and that might mean something different for someone else. Another huge thing of this year is words and miscommunication with words. Our Mercury retrogrades are going to have a lot more power to them, the one that happened in the summer and the one that we're about to go into, or that we're currently in. We're actually currently in it, if you're watching this video in current time. They're going to have more power because Mercury is ruled by Gemini, and our destiny right now is in Gemini. And so we're really all about communication right now and how we're communicating, and a lot of the communication that we're dealing with. And remember, communication includes our phone, social media, the news, right? Propaganda. Okay. So reading a book, studying about the history of something, right? So there's a lot of studying, there's a lot about communication, and there's a lot of miscommunication because everyone's screaming at each other because of the Sagittarius comfort. We're overdosing on this no filter, don't even go into the facts, my story, right? So again, there's a lot of this push-pull of the spin in the news and the storytelling, okay? So now we're gonna go into the words, and it's gonna make a lot more sense to you. Now, something I do in my coaching world is, it's Brooke Castillo, Life Coach School, okay? You can find her podcast. I love her. She helps me so much, but she has this thing called the model. And so we're gonna use the model. So she has a circumstance line, then a thought, then a feeling, then an action, and then a result, okay? And that actually is my 1, 2, 3, 4 method. It's the elements of astrology. It all aligns, okay? So I love using this. So whenever we put something in the C line or the circumstance line, we have to make sure that everyone agrees on it. So if you say the phrase, 2020 sucks, you can't make that a circumstance. It has to be a thought that you're thinking. And the reason why is because there's some people who think 2020 is awesome. I know, it's weird, but there are. So it would have to be something along the lines of the year 2020, because we can all agree it's the year 2020, right? You can't put in the circumstance line, President Trump is awesome, because not everyone thinks President Trump is awesome. You can't do it the other way either. President Trump is horrible. Not everyone agrees with that, right? So when you're using things like Trump, COVID-19, or the year 2020, you can't put something that you think about it. If you do try to put that in the circumstance line, just realize if not everyone can agree on it, it's a thought that you're thinking, okay? And you can change the thought that you're thinking, okay? It doesn't matter if you want to debate why you're thinking that and it's real and it's right, because no, everyone has to agree on something for it to be a circumstance. And the definition of circumstance is a piece of evidence that indicates the probability or improbability of an event, such as a crime. Okay, so as Brooke always says, it has to be something that everyone agrees upon in a court of law, right? Like everyone has to agree upon it, okay? So we can all say the sky is blue. We pretty much all agree on that, right? We can all say COVID-19 happened in 2020. That's a circumstance, right? Okay, so you kind of get the point. Or you could say our president is Donald Trump. Simple, everyone can agree upon it. So when you're working on your mindset around this year, you really want to start to get those neutral statements so that you can realize, okay, well, what's my thought about President Trump? Or what's my thought about the year 2020? Or what's my thought about COVID-19, right? You get your thought, then you're going to say, how does that thought make me feel? You're going to realize how you feel about it. And then you're going to see from that feeling, what action do I take? And from that action, what result do I get? This is such a powerful process you can go through if you want to kind of shift and change your thoughts about the year 2020, okay? Or any of the other things I mentioned. Now, let me just make this very clear. Life is 50-50, as Brooke always says. Some things are good, some things are bad. If someone passes away, let's just say, you don't necessarily want to feel good about that, right? So a lot of times it's not about let's change the thought so we can think a better feeling thought, so we can be positive and happy and good. No, life isn't like that, right? Sometimes we want to feel the negative emotions because we don't want to suppress in our emotions, right? We want to feel them. So a lot of times if you get to the feeling line and you feel something and you know you can't change that thought because that right now, that's where you're at, feel the feelings, okay? So it's a big thing to know when we're dealing with the model and coaching with our mind. You really want to go into the feeling, okay? So now I'm going to go into the other words so it can make more sense for you, okay? So the model is just going to help you get clear on what you're thinking and your thoughts about things and the reality that you're living in and the perception that you're in, okay? So let's talk about words. We've got the word information. I'm going to read the definition. Knowledge obtained from investigating, studying, or instruction, which justifies change in a construct that represents physical or mental experience or another construct, the communication or reception of knowledge or intelligence. That was ridiculous, but okay. That's the definition of information, okay? Knowledge obtained from investigation or study, okay? So information is knowledge obtained from investigation or study. Fact, something that has actual evidence, an actual occurrence, a piece of information presented as having objective reality. Okay, cool. Truth, a judgment, proposition, or idea that is true or accepted as true. Okay. Perception, a capacity for comprehension, a mental image, physical sensation, interpreted in the light of experience, an act or instance of observing a custom, rule, or law. Okay, so basically to just summarize, understand that when you use the word true or truth in the year 2020, it's not everyone's truth. Please understand that. Everyone is in two totally different polarities and multiple realities right now. This is the Great Awakening. Things are shifting on a spiritual consciousness level, okay? And we're not going to really understand it until 4 years. In 4 years, we can truly look back and we're really going to understand it. But in these next 4 years, it's going to be the process of going through this transformation, and everyone's going to have a different experience of understanding perception and the perception that they're in. So I want you to really understand right now, if you are just digging your heels on one side of this polarity, whether it's mask or no mask, or the civil unrest, or just the political election, right? It doesn't matter what part of the polarity we're talking about. You might be really attached to one side of the polarity, and you might think, no, this is true. This is true, JFO. I'm telling you right now, it's only true for you. And the reason is because We are living in different perceptions. That is the whole point of this collective destiny. We're all perceiving reality in a different way based on the context that reality is in. Okay, so I just want you to understand that why is 2020 like this? Why is it crazy? Well, number one, we're going through a great awakening. We're going through a contracted galactical biblical experience that is so big. You're not going to find it on the mainstream media. You're not going to find it. I'm going to say that again. You're not going to find it on the mainstream media. If you are still in the mainstream media narrative and reality, that's okay. If that feels good for you and that's your truth, do it. Pick a side of the polarity, run with it, do it. That's okay. I'm not telling you to not do that. But what I am trying to tell you is that you want to bring compassion in this year and the year ahead, because not everyone's going to be in your world, in your perception, in your reality. That is the point of this destiny line. That is the point of what we're learning the rest of the year and the year ahead. So if you have any questions about this, please put them in the comments below. I would love to support you more on this, and I would love to do a part 3 or even a part 4. And I would love to know what more you want me to dive into when it comes to why is the year 2020 great. Make sure to find my Instagram links below and follow me on Instagram. I have 2 accounts, so definitely follow me there. And if you would like to do an astrology reading or an astrology coaching call, or even work with me for an entire month, I would love to support you. All the information is below. Please, let's connect. Remember, you are a star in the movie of your life. You have a special destiny that's unique to you. So keep shining your light, and I'll catch you next week on the High Vibe Show with JFO.
Home, rush to see if she called or even left a message for me in a flash. All alone.